Housing for all has always been an issue in Nigeria. Before independence, the responsibility of making housing affordable to the majority of the citizenry led to the establishment of the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria in 1956. At that time, it was known as the Nigerian Building Society (NBS), a joint venture between the Commonwealth Development Corporation and the federal and eastern governments of Nigeria. Following the introduction of the indigenization policy, the federal government, under the Indigenization Act of 1973, acquired the Nigerian Building Society and renamed it the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria, FMBN. The bank operates as a vehicle for increasing the mobilization of long-term funds and expansion of mortgage lending services to all segments of the Nigerian populace.
There is no way an average worker can work and save money to build a house and enjoy it during the working life. Most of them start working and saving money for houses. Before they can save enough to build, to complete the house, they will have approached retirement. And when you retire, that is when you now start moving into the house you have been, your dream house. But mortgages affords you the opportunity of getting the house, your dream house, now, but you're still working. You move into the house, live in the house, and be paying for that house installmentally. You see, the abuse is that you're already living in the house, and then you start paying for the house. Instead of you don't have a house, you begin to save. Save till the old age, and then begin to build when you have retired.
With the promulgation of the Mortgage Institutions Act 53 of 1989 and the FMBN Act 82 of 1993, the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria was accorded the status of the apex mortgage institution and thus relieved it of its retail function to an autonomous company called the Federal Mortgage Finance Limited, FMFL. This was in 1994.
That one will be an arm of the bank that will do retail banking, mortgage banking services. They opened shops all around and did retail, and for some reasons, the government objective was not being satisfied by that. And eventually the government has to deconsolidate, that is, close down that again, come back to Federal Mortgage Bank.
The history of the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria has not been without hiccups due to some policies which did not work out well. The federal government, under the 2002-2006 National Policy on Housing and Urban Development, restructured the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria into a federal government-sponsored enterprise with more focus on secondary mortgage and capital market functions. Encouraging the emergence and promoting the growth of viable primary mortgage institutions to service the need of housing delivery in all parts of Nigeria. Mobilization of both domestic and offshore funds into the housing sector. Linking the capital market with the housing industry, establishing and operating a viable secondary mortgage market to support the primary mortgage market. And collecting and administering the National Housing Fund in accordance with the provision of the National Housing Fund Act. The Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria is thus playing a critical role of developing a robust mortgage financing system. It now finances mortgage created by the primary mortgage banks under the National Housing Scheme and also gives estate developers loans to real estate developers.
The Federal Mortgage Bank provides loans, mortgage loans to Nigerians, but many people do not know this. They tell you that they get loans from primary mortgage institutions like ASO, like Union Homes, like Abbey Building Society, and the rest of them. But the fact is that Federal Mortgage Bank gives this money to them to give to Nigerians. That is one point I want people to note, that not all this money are coming from their own sources. This money comes from Federal Mortgage Bank. A very good example is the sale of federal government houses in Abuja. When the federal government sold houses to Nigerians in Abuja, and people were going to banks to look for money, government gave us a mandate to provide finance for those people. And we were able to raise bonds in the market, that's borrow from the marketplace or the capital market. And we raised 26 billion naira. 26 billion naira in 2007. And we distributed this money to ASO, to UBA, Intercontinental Bank, Union Homes, Abbey Building Society, and some other ones like that.
The FMBN's overall objective is to promote the delivery of affordable and modern housing to Nigerians. The Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria also took over the management and administration of the Contributory Savings Scheme, known as the National Housing Fund, NHF, as established by Act 3 of 1992.
People who earn a certain amount, specifically 3,000 naira and above, should contribute 2.5% of their income to the fund. And once they have done that for about 6 months, they are now eligible to be able to access what we call the NHF loan, for them to be able to pay or buy, a house for themselves.
The National Housing Fund is a pool that mobilizes long-term funds from Nigerian workers, companies, and the federal government to advance housing loans at soft interest rates to its contributors.
The buyers of those houses must be NHF contributors. Because if we give you loan, because we give the loans to developers at cheap interest rate, if we give them the money, we expect them to go and develop the houses so that our contributors will buy them. Not that anybody who has money, who is passing by, will walk in and buy the estates. No, and buy the houses. No. So that is what we do. And that is what we monitor from my department. We go about and monitor it and make sure that anybody who is going to buy the house must be a contributor to the fund. And any developer who is going to build must sell to the contributors. So we set price limits, and we also make sure that the interest at which we give mortgages to beneficiaries are kept within the limit of 6% per annum, which you cannot get anywhere in this country.
If you don't contribute to Federal Mortgage Bank, you can't go to them and assess they are the one who give the lowest interest rate today. If you go to other mortgage banks, they will give you commercial rates of mortgages. Therefore, and this commercial rate is like when you receive 20 million for your house, you may end up through this compound interest thing, and the higher percentage of the interest they are charging, you may end up paying another 22 million on interest. So you are buying that house for 42 million.
Through the FMBN, the mortgage system in Nigeria is no doubt changing for the better. But a lot still needs to be done. Many experts are of the opinion that one aspect of the mortgage system that has been the bane of improvement is the interest rate of mortgage loans. This issue has to be addressed.
Unless we have the correct mortgage where it's in a single-digit interest, I don't think that is why people are confused. Because it means a taxi man or a market woman cannot go into any of the mortgage banks and say she's taking money for a house.
Everyone deserves a home. Showing on the NTA network every Thursday at 6 p.m.
A major mandate of the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria is encouraging the emergence and promoting the growth of viable primary mortgage institutions to service the need of housing delivery in all parts of Nigeria. The FMBN is ensuring it fulfills this mandate to the letter. In the Federal Capital Territory, the Federal Mortgage Bank, in collaboration with stakeholders such as primary mortgage institutions and real estate developers, have financed more than 25 different housing estates in the last 3 years alone. Brick City Estate stands on 43 hectares of land along the Abuja-Kubwa-Suleja axis. It is an impressive housing estate with distinct features, beautiful and all-encompassing. It is a collaboration between the FMBN and Urban Shelter Limited.
We pursue Federal Mortgage Bank about 4 years ago to get some money from them, but we couldn't get it. Until recently, with the present managing director, who has bring a bit vibrant, that now you can access the loan, and it's like a kind of a synergy between the serious developers and them. When you build, this house will now turn. You will give them the number of houses that the loan covers, and when people pay their percentages between 10, 20, and 30, they are eligible. So that loan they give you will now turn to like they are paying you for the houses. So the 70% that they're supposed to give to their clients. So, which I think is a very good synergy, because like the Brick City now, they have given us about 1.8 billion, which would translate to more than about 390 houses or so.
In 2011, Urban Shelter Limited received a mortgage loan of about 1.8 billion naira from the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria. The loan has today translated into this housing estate for middle and lower income earners. The concept is to develop an estate built with bricks for the Nigerian populace.
For bricks, the one good thing about it is that, one, it is durable. Second thing again is that it is maintenance free. The facial you give it like this and the finishing you give it, if the structure will exist for the next 100 years, it will just look same. And in terms of maintenance, you don't need much to be able to keep that face. So therefore, that makes it, at the long run, very affordable. And housing units for common man is to be affordable and at least be durable, which bricks can be able to provide.
The houses are in various categories. There are the 3-bedroom detached, 3-bedroom semi-detached, 2-bedroom blocks of flats, and 1-bedroom blocks of flats.
We are trying to see how we can be able to go up. So we are coming up with additional 3-bedroom semi-detached duplexes to replace the 3-bedroom semi-detached you have, and 2-bedroom duplexes semi-detached to replace the 2-bedroom we have on ground, which adequately people are coming in and showing a lot of interest.
The estate is a paradise for low-income earners in the FCT. The 25% greening of the estate space has not been compromised either. The area is well landscaped and every possible infrastructure taken into consideration. The streets have been laid with asphalt for both human and vehicular movement. There are 5 electric transformers for steady electricity supply. Water has its place in the priority list of infrastructure provided.
Put together, we have about 5 different places of water tanks. On the ground, you have about 10,000 liters. At the up, you have 60,000 liters. So in a point like this, we have about 160,000 liters. That is how we have 5 points of it. Now, since we are going in for the water from the water board, so we have the main that run from Kubwa to this place at a dedicated line. Then that means at the end of the day, water is not a problem. But we did not stop there. We provided up to 6 boreholes, which is to serve, in case of any eventuality, is to serve the estate.
that's not all. The estate is all-inclusive. The shopping mall has reached an advanced stage and will take care of the people's shopping needs. The developer has also taken measures to ensure strict security for the occupants and their property.
We incorporated the Nigerian police into the security of this place so that we have patrol team 24 hours coming in and out. We have police people who kind of assist our own security men at the site, both afternoons and evening. Then we have a large number of security, which we shared among the whole estate, taking care of all the property and lives around the site.
Everyone deserves a home. Showing on the NTA network every Thursday at 6 p.m.
Mrs. Caroline Johnson is a proud owner of this 3-bedroom semi-detached house at Brick City Housing Estate. According to her, it was difficult living in a rented apartment as the huge rent demanded by the landlord each year was a big nightmare.
The tenants go through a lot in the hands of Abuja landlords. One of those things is this, like you getting house from them, they promise heaven and earth to put everything in shape. The issue of water is something else. Like the place I lived before I moved in here by the grace of God, we suffered water for almost 3 years. Though when we were paying, the landlord promised that it's going to fix this and that. At the end of the day, nothing to show for it.
Caroline's joy knew no bounds when she moved into her own personal house in the Brick City estate.
Like every other woman, like me, we feel. When you own your own house, you feel on top of the world because the stress of going through the text messages from landlord, the embarrassment, this and that, even from co-tenant, that issue is off. So whatever you want to do, you have a focus. You'll be able to think straight.
But how exactly did Mrs. Johnson go about getting this house?
Yeah, when we came, we asked to buy form, to purchase form. They directed us to the head office in the town, went there, bought the form, filled, give out our status and the rest. And from there, they gave us the procedure of getting if we are to go on mortgage or whatever.
Her happiness is that not only is she a proud homeowner today, but that the house is a standard one and in a serene environment with all other amenities. For her, this is a great thing happening in the country.
Wherever you are, when the security is in place, you are okay. Every other thing is in shape, the water, the lights. I remembered barely 2 weeks when we moved in that the light was fluctuating. The moment we called the management, they came to our rescue. And ever since, everything has been going on fine.
Going by the mandate of the FMBN and its renewed commitment to deliver, many more Nigerians will have similar stories to tell in the nearest future. A message from Adekunle Bayo reads, I am a National Housing Fund contributor, but I am skeptical of the quality of houses built by some of your real estate developers. How do you ensure that the houses or estates are of standard quality?
We do monitoring of our estates. We have a lot of developers. We give loans and they build houses. We have construction sites, they build houses for us. So this department goes to sites to monitor what they are doing, to ensure that the work going on site conforms with all the requirements and guidelines set out for that job. So that's why I said like a quality control department. So when you go to the estates we finance, you find that the quality of the estates are good because that department makes sure that everything, the rules are followed.
A message from Tenimu Danladi reads, My father retired from public service about a year ago. He did not get a mortgage loan. what happens to his contributions?
If somebody contributes or participates in the scheme and contributes into the fund, if at the time the person is retiring from work, or if he's incapacitated, meaning that he's unable to work due to, maybe an injury or some sickness and all that, if he's no longer in employment, he's entitled to a refund.
A text message from Chukudi Amadi reads, "I don't know exactly what mortgage is. Please explain."
Mortgage is a sort of arrangement where you obtain a facility from a financial institution to buy a house. There are certain terms and conditions that you must meet, and that also includes your own contribution. It could be 5%, 10%, 20%, as the case may be. That is, in a simple language, what mortgage is all about.
For comments, questions, and observations, send text only to 080 9641 1399, or you can visit our website on www.fmbn.ng for inquiries.